Olá a todos, vamos a mais uma palestra, na verdade é uma entrevista que eu fiz com a chef Ann Cooper, que é uma super querida. A Ann, ela é uma aclamada chefe, escritora, educadora e ela é defensora da comida de verdade para todas as crianças. Ela é muito famosa nos Estados Unidos, graduada pelo Culinary Institute of America há mais de 40 anos, sendo que há mais de 17 anos ela trabalha com programas escolares. Hoje ela é diretora do setor alimentar de uma escola nos Estados Unidos e ela foi homenageada pelo The National Resources Defense Council e ela foi premiada com um doutorado, mesmo sem ter cursado doutorado, para vocês verem tamanha importância do trabalho da Ann. A Ann participou do filme Muito Além do Peso, ela teve uma participação muito bacana, foi como a gente conheceu ela e a convidou. E a Ann tem uma fundação maravilhosa que se chama Chef Ann Foundation. É uma fundação sem fins lucrativos. Quem tem interesse em alimentação escolar tem que olhar o site dela. Tem muita informação bacana, são ideias maravilhosas, super possíveis de serem trazidas para o Brasil. O endereço da fundação está no nosso site. Espero que vocês gostem da aula, perdoem meu inglês enferrujado, mas eu fiz o melhor para que a gente pudesse trazer o melhor que a Ann pudesse dar para a gente de informação e a gente se espelhar e poder fazer aqui no Brasil também, tá bom? Tenham todos uma ótima palestra e até mais! And first of all, thank you for accepting our invitation for the second Health and Child Feeding Attention Week. I'd like to say that me and Livia are big fans of your work, and I'm pretty sure that I'd spend a couple of hours here, but we're gonna briefly talk about your experiences, your dreams, and what's currently going on at Chef Ann's Foundation, right?
Great. I'm so happy to be here talking to you. Really excited.
Great. So I'm going to start making you some questions. So in your opinion, what's the main root of the obesity and chronic disease epidemic in children?
You know, I think it's twofold. One is the food. There's so much high processed, high fat, high salt, high sugar food. And that's really bad. I mean, we are feeding our kids junk food and it's making them sick. And then, you know, to go along with that is the amount of time our kids are spending in front of a blue screen, iPhone, iPad, you know, TV, games, you know, computers. So on one hand, they're eating a lot of bad food with a lot of calories, empty calories. And on the other hand, they're not getting outside and getting enough exercise.
Yeah, that's true. And we're seeing children growing without knowing how real food tastes like.
Sorry.
Because their taste has become so used to the excess of fat, sugar, and salt. Who do you think is the most responsible for this condition? Parents, industry, government? Is there any is it like a principal one, like a main one, or it's all our fault?
I think it takes a village. It's all of our faults. I think, big industry and, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, sorry, the phone's gone now. Big industry markets in America spend $17 to $20 billion a year marketing non-nutrient foods to kids. So kids are watching lots and lots of commercials about eating, you know, junk food, non-nutrient food. Parents are often really busy, maybe don't have enough money, and junk food is cheap. And that's a government problem because that's a regulatory problem. That's our laws. So, you know, parents need to cook food for kids. Schools need to serve kids healthier food. The government needs to protect kids from advertising. And big business has to understand that, you know, if everyone's sick, they're not even going to have any more customers.
Yeah, that's true. So we know the ideal would be organics for everyone. That would be awesome. But we also know that's not like that. Not all people can afford for it. Especially in Brazil, organics are really, really expensive comparing with normal real food. So our children keep being fed with pesticides, herbicides, antibiotics, and hormones. You've been talking a lot about how important is people gathering as nation to change this situation, since the government is not very interested into it, especially because of the big industry. So how can we change attitude to revert that? What will be your advice to, especially to families and professionals? So we gather together, and what would we do? Should we start from us?
Yes, we should start from us. First of all, though, we should start in the home. Yes, organics are expensive, but, if we cook all of our meals and don't go out so much, and maybe think about more plant-based foods than animal-based foods. So, so a couple meals a week, maybe without animal protein, then that might give us more money to buy some organic vegetables. So we have to start there. But then we all need to tell our elected officials how important this is, that we don't want our kids to be sick. And if we can see healthy food as preventative medicine for lifelong illness, then perhaps we can get our elected officials to understand that this is really important and these are changes we need to make, and that we want healthy kids in all of our countries.
How are the initiatives in USA with the organic food for everyone? Do you have any initiatives for it? Or because here in Brazil we also we start to getting people that are very interested into it and going directly to the producers to buy from producer. Are there any movement doing the same in USA?
Yeah, so in the US, a couple things. There are a lot of movements around getting people to have more organic food, to have organic food be less expensive, to be available to everyone and not just rich people. So we have a lot of farmers markets, and even in the US, what used to be called food stamps, it's now called SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Program. So you can use your SNAP money, or what used to be food stamps, at a lot of farmers markets, and they're worth twice as much on vegetables. So we're really seeing this movement to get more people to eat fresh food, local food, and organic food when possible. And we're even seeing this in schools as well.
Could you talk a little bit more about this SNAP thing? I didn't understand really well.
Okay, so SNAP means Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program.
Oh, cool.
So in the United States, it used to be food stamps. So when you're poor, you might get this to help you buy food for your family. Now, in a lot of places in our country, if you go to a farmer's market with your SNAP money, you'll get twice as much fruits and vegetables as if you were doing something else. So instead of $1 or $10, you would get $20.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So there's really a movement around trying to make healthy food more accessible.
That's great. That's pretty interesting. My next question is, we've ended it up in a point that supermarkets and schools are selling plenty of unhealthy foods. We know that you've been standing up for nutrition and food education at school. Are kids being educated to refuse that? The plenty of unhealthy foods? Because they still have contact with that, right? So how have you seen that in practice?
So in our school districts, and also the school districts that the foundation works with, we spend a lot of time trying to get kids to eat healthy foods and really learn about healthy foods. So we in Boulder Valley School District, where I'm the director, we do 200 events a year really about getting kids to taste healthy food, to understand healthy food, to understand how much sugar is in food. We don't actually sell almost anything in our schools, and we don't sell anything unhealthy. So we have no soda, no sugar sweetened beverages. We don't have junk food in our schools. We don't even serve desserts with lunch. And that's the kind of education and marketing to kids that we think, the positive education and marketing that we think we should be giving to all kids. And our foundation works really hard to help schools do this all across the country.
Cool. Because it's really difficult to educate children, and when they go to the break time, there's plenty of this palatable and unhealthy food waiting for them. So it's kind of like you lose everything that you just explained. Because if you compete like a broccoli with a snack, with a
right, exactly.
or something, I mean, what can you do? So the best thing, in your opinion, would be not having this stuff on school, right? At school.
Right. Schools shouldn't have it, but as well, we should be educating our kids in why they should care about eating healthy, how delicious healthy food can be, and, you know, what it all really means to their body and their future.
Yeah, right. They really understand, right? What's the age you think they start to really understand this kind of stuff? I mean, when they are really in the first stage, like 2-3 years old, you can start to bring them to practical stuff. But when they really start to understand,
I think by second grade.
Yeah.
So that must be like 7 or 8. I think they start to understand these concepts.
But you can start before that, right?
Absolutely. But as soon as they
all practical knowledge, but yeah, definitely. My next question is, do you have any practical advice for families and professionals to change children's relationship with food, considering that they have been raised eating unhealthy and industrialized palatable food? Have you developed tools that we could use to work with them?
So yes, but before I tell you about the tools, I want to say that the things parents can do that really make a difference is sit down at a table and eat food with the kids with no devices, no TV, no iPhones, no anything. Just sit and talk and cook meals together. Have the kids cook with you. Cook real food, not fast food or not junk food, but cook real food. And maybe you don't do that every night, but you do that often. And additionally, go shopping to a market with kids. Let them pick out a new fresh fruit or vegetable that they've never had and let them, cook it or eat it. And then take them to farmers markets if there are any. But get kids involved. You should garden with your kids, cook with your kids. Just get them involved in the food. And on the Chef Ann Foundation website, there's a parent section, the Parent Engagement Network. And that's really about getting parents, giving parents the tools to help change their school food but feed their kids better as well.
That's great. And you once said that it's really important that children understand that their eating choices will make a big difference on their future. So for many years we've tried to teach health eating with poor results. What are we doing wrong? Should we start to show them the problems, not just the solutions? What do you think?
I think that one of the things we really have to teach them is how wonderful fresh food is. So instead of telling them you shouldn't eat candy or cookies or ice cream, that's all negative. How about teaching them how delicious a fresh strawberry could be, or, a fresh piece of fruit or a fresh vegetable, and let them cook it so they own it. And so it's the carrot instead of the stick. It's the carrot instead of the stick, getting them really excited about real fresh food instead of giving them all the negatives. But I do think They need to understand what obesity is and how, what it does to you and what the lack of nutrition does. That, kids want to excel. Maybe they love sports. Maybe they love to dance. Maybe they like to read. And if they could really understand that without good, healthy food, they're not going to be the best they can be at any of those things, that helps as well.
Yeah, that's true. That makes a lot of sense. And you also said that we must give to next generations the tools to save themselves and to save the planet. So maybe we can't change everything, but we can give them the opportunity to change the future, right?
Absolutely.
In Brazil, we are so away from it. Do you believe that as citizens we could start this revolution? And what? Yeah.
I really believe that as citizens we can start this revolution. And I think the younger generation really is starting to think about the planet. So sometimes the way to get them to understand about better eating is maybe through climate change, or maybe through sustainability, or maybe through the environment. I mean, starting them to think about even recycling, or, just the little things. I mean, it's one step at a time. And, I think part of the problem in some areas is it's really poor. And when you're really poor, I mean, any food is better than no food. And if you've been growing up, where the only thing to do with your trash is burn it, and then the air is really bad, well, then it's hard to think about climate change. But if we could all start where we are, getting kids to understand, that what they eat and how we deal with the planet really make a difference in their lives. So yeah, I think we all take baby steps in that direction.
You said something that I'm really interested into it, that is about social condition to have healthy food. I mean, I think in USA maybe it's worse than in Brazil because processed food is really cheap. And you say it's better to eat any food than no food. And how are you guys managing that? Have you seen any initiatives that work with this social condition? I mean, you said one a little while ago, but do you have anything to talk about that? I'm really, really interested into it because I think we have two separate things. One is information, access to information, and one is access to food and access to the action. And sometimes I think they don't talk.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly right. I mean, I think that on one hand, we do have to give people information. On the other hand, if people are hungry, we need to feed them. But a lot of the food banks, so we work with a food bank here in Boulder, Community Food Share, and a lot of the food banks are really starting to think about not just giving hungry people junk food, but giving hungry people real food. And we're really starting to see this movement about it being so much more than calories, that we don't just need to serve people calories, we have to serve people health. And I do think that that's a big movement in this country. And one of the things that just passed yesterday as a law out of the USDA in schools is that you can't even advertise junk food to kids in schools anymore. Like if it doesn't meet the USDA guidelines for healthy food, you can't even advertise it. So there can't be a picture of soda or pictures of candy, or you can't teach kids to count with Oreos. They've really, they're really trying to make a difference.
Oh, that's great. That's really good. Yeah, it's a big issue here in Brazil as well. We have, I think we do have some initiatives, but really starting. We don't really have access. Sometimes we want to send information for everyone, but what would you do just with information? You need access.
Yes.
So I know that healthy food's better, but I can't afford it for it. So 1 kilo of meat is like 30 reals. and 1 kilo of sausage is like 5 reals. So what would you do to feed all your family, like with 7, 8 people? It's pretty difficult.
Yeah.
So the next question. Okay, you've started a revolution, bring out some outstanding new ideas for the scholar food program in USA. And we understand that you've achieved that by making partnerships with many people that were also tired of waiting for solutions from industries and governments. In Brazil, we also have many isolated initiatives trying to make a difference in this scenario. Would you have any advice for those people, for those initiatives? How can we start together and bring all ideas together to make difference in the whole system? Do you have any idea?
Well, I think it is making partnerships and really working and collaborating to really get government to start to change its policies. But on the local level, I think bringing these groups together, the nonprofits, and so public-private partnership, getting some companies that support healthy food, getting the nonprofits that support healthy food and kids and education, getting the schools together, everyone working together. And it's not easy to bring people together, but we know from our work that you really can do it. And the more people that are like-minded working on an issue, the more you'll see change. And we've really seen this in school food. In the last 7 years of the Obama administration, school food has changed so significantly. And the food we are now serving our kids is so much better than it was. It's really, really exciting.
That's great. We've seen that you manage some programs at Chef Ann's Foundation, as the Project Produce, the Lunchbox, the Salad Bars. They're all wonderful projects that have been renovating scholar feeding situation. Do you think we could use them as models to change children feeding in a global level? Could you tell us, because some people that are watching us, maybe they don't really know about your projects. Would you tell us a little bit about each one of them and how are they changing schools, and how can we use them as initiatives to model and maybe use them in Brazil?
So the Chef Ann Foundation's premier project, the one we started with, is the Lunchbox. And the Lunchbox is a web portal that could be used all around the world and translated with Google Translate that really helps school districts segue from highly processed to scratch cooked. And it has all the tools to do this. It has marketing and educational tools, financial modeling tools. It has recipes, hundreds and hundreds of recipes. It has the USDA, the United States guidelines there. There's menu cycles. So it's really meant for advocates and school food professionals to really change the food that kids eat in school. So that we started with that, and it's all on the internet, so it's really easy for anyone to use. The next big project we started was Let's Move Salad Bars to Schools. And we've raised almost $12 million and put about 5,000 salad bars in schools all across the country. And we continue to raise, about $1.5 million to $2 million a year and put more and more salad bars. And salad bars are something that schools anywhere could do. We wouldn't actually give away salad bars in Brazil, but all of the information about setting up salad bars, manuals, marketing, Rainbow Day, all the different things you need to make them work are available for download from our website, the Lunchbox, and also from another website, Salad Bars to Schools. Project Produce is a fairly new program we started a couple years ago where we grant school districts $2,500 to do education and marketing around getting kids to eat fresh fruits and vegetables. The program, and there's manuals about it that tells you all about how to do it. That program could be done anywhere in the world with local funding. then maybe you wouldn't need quite as much money, but you could get local funding from foundations, maybe the government, and maybe big business as well. So we've got, these great programs going on, and I think they're applicable almost anywhere.
That's great. So does this money come from sponsors and local?
So we fundraise nationwide for our work.
Okay, good.
So all around the country we fundraise, and one of the newest things we're doing, which might be really helpful, but is probably a year away, is we just got a grant to start an online university on school food. So you'll be able to take classes in online learning, and it's going to start in English, but it'd be really interesting to be able to translate it into other languages, because it's going to be classes on exactly how to do this. And I think we're starting with 8 courses, and each course has 10 classes in it. So it's a ton of information.
Oh, that's cool. So you plan to sell this package to universities and...
So we're working on that now. So some people will be able to get it for free. Some people will be able to get...
Cool.
Yeah, so some people will be paying. Some people will get scholarships. A lot of different... Everything's going to help the foundation to keep working, right? Yes, exactly.
That's awesome. And it was really great pleasure to talk to you. All your projects are really, really brilliant. I know that we need money to do that, but as you said, we can bring people together, we can bring initiatives together, and maybe see how can we do stuff together to actually put us in action and see that it's already working somewhere else. It's absolutely great. So I really think you're gonna inspire a lot of people here that are watching us, and I really want to send you an email in future and say, really, Anne, we are also doing this in Brazil after our interview. So I'm hoping that many people get inspired by our talk and start making change, even in a local situation. And after that, we can start to share this more global. So thank you very much for being here with us, and I hope we talk soon.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's been really exciting. What I usually tell people when I do speeches in our country is just do one thing. Just start small. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, but do one thing. At home, cook with your kids, or garden with your kids, or shop with your kids. In school, start changing to healthier food, segue away from junk food. But if we all just start by doing one thing, we really can change our kids' health all across the world.
Yeah, that's what me and Livia also think. And that's why we started. We think that maybe we could put like a little seed inside someone's families and local places, and this can change a little bit, but in a little bit, we change global.
Yes.
Thank you very much, and